Welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Sessions with myself, Keith, and as always,
Seamus.
A Dubliner's Guide to Cinema. See, I got it in that time.
There we go.
Yeah.
As if the accents wouldn't give it away. Though
Exactly,
I keep hearing what a neutral accent I have from people. I
don't want to know what people think of my accent.
I don't want to. Well, not on the podcast, but just in general. But I remember once in Hong Kong, we were in an Irish bar, and a guy, he was Irish now, and he goes to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, Ireland." He goes, "Yeah, which part of Dublin?" And I was like, "Is my accent that?" Oh, because a lot of people say it's neutral because both my parents are from the countryside.
Yeah, but you definitely have a Dublin accent. I have a very
Dublin
accent.
Yeah, now some of the people saying would be students. For anyone who doesn't know, I work in an English language school, and I subconsciously would modify the way I speak around them. But like if I'm talking to a normal person, sorry guys, you are all normal, but you know what I mean. I just assume that I do. I don't know. There were two American ladies they were standing on like an island in a dangerous part of the fucking city, like with buses driving by them, and I happened to stop beside them. And I was like, was I being more Dublin than I normally would be? And they were like, oh my God, we're stuck here. And I was like, yeah, sure, you'll be grand. When that light turns red, you'll be grand. Have a nice holiday, ladies. And I was like, was that kind of a subconscious put on or something?
Yeah, like Americans cannot understand me.
Really?
They find it very difficult. Like I used to work for eBay, right? So basically what would be in the first half of the day you're dealing with UK customers. But as the Yanks start waking up around 1 or 2, then you're dealing with the Americans. And when I tell you, it'll be, sorry, what did you say? Like, I can't understand the words you're saying. No, but I had a theory.
Oh, fuck.
Because the Americans are very used to getting what they want. Do you know what I mean? They have a very kind of
service-driven culture.
Yes, yeah. So for them, when they hear no, they don't like it. So a lot of it was they suddenly wouldn't understand me when I told them no, I'm not doing that for you.
Fascinating.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's like I want to speak to an American and all this. Like,
yeah, I have a cousin from very rural Galway who's a bit of a listener. Hello, Jason. And I was fascinated because he told me he was in Australia, and he'd be like, "Can I have a pint or whatever?" And he says they would be like, "What? I can't understand." Like Australians, no offense, guys. Well, I was like, they're fucking telling us that.
Yeah.
Having said that, I grew up around that accent. You know, my dad he wouldn't have been quite as strong as he'd been away, but like it is, I suppose, a strong accent. It just sounds kind of normal to me. But funny thing, accents, like I find, again, no, I do mean to offend Scottish people. I can't understand some of them but some of them are spectacularly strong.
Oh yeah, did you ever see Kevin Bridges, the comedian?
No, I don't think
he has a very strong Glasgow accent, right?
Right.
And it's always funny seeing him on something like Graham Norton or something, and the Americans are just looking at him like trying to figure out what he's saying. Like, it's so funny. Like,
have you seen it? There's a viral clip of some Scottish politician, and he's like, "Yeah, would you like to tell people how they can?" And there's like some British guy who's like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't understand a word of that." And the guy like repeats himself, and the guy still can't fucking understand it. Because a lot of students see that clip because they're kind of intimidated by speaking. There's another famous one of Adele, and she's like, "Oh, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's my daughter in the other room." And I'm like, oh yeah, that would be nearly impossible because you have to understand, like, first of all, the context of what she's talking about, which is really weird just out of context of it. But yeah, it's funny things, accents, and I'm kind of surprised the Yanks couldn't understand. But as you say, maybe it was.
But see, the thing is, what happens is not. But normally, when I'm talking to Americans, it's probably in Temple Bar, and I've had about 6 points. So I'm talking a mile a minute, and with a lot of slang, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that
I
would
say,
be...
like, even the way I say that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they would. There are some. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff. I find actually I do tend to like American slang actually. Whenever I hear it in a movie, like, you know, you often find yourself kind of imitating it or whatever. So there's kind of crossover there. But I can imagine them culturally not getting some of our. But should we get out of that garden?
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like we have an extra we speak Iberno English. It's not even
that's
the Brits,
right. Yeah.
The Brits can struggle with us. Like, do you know what I mean?
I was on a semi-viral video on TikTok, and I just wanted people to understand it because the idea was I'm speaking English, Hiberno English, and we have an American teacher at the school, and he spoke American English. But at the start, I said Irish English, and he says it. And the amount of fucking, actually, it's Hiberno English. And I'm like, crawl back under your fucking rock with your Aaron jumper, you cunt. Anyway, we're not talking about any of that today. We're talking about the following film. We'll hop right into it. Boiler Room. Boiler Room is a crime drama from the year 2000, written and directed by Ben Younger, starring Giovanni Ribisi, Vin Diesel, Nia Long, and Ben Affleck. The film follows Seth Davis, a college dropout running an illegal casino who gets drawn into the world of high-pressure stock brokerage. As he rises through the ranks, Seth discovers that the firm's wealth is built on fraudulent practices, forcing him to choose between success and morality. The film has a 7.0 rating on IMDb with a Metacritic critic score of 63% and a user score of 7.2. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a critic score of 66% and an audience score of 78%. It grossed around 28.8 million worldwide against a budget of 9 million. And on a personal note, sure, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but capitalism hasn't failed me. I failed myself, and this latest round of shitcoins I've bought are going to turn things right around, Keith. I can feel it. That Andrew Schultz guy, one of his, or he probably has one or something. I'm intrigued, Keith, because before we rolled tape, you said you're kind of dreading this one.
Yeah.
And is it because the film is so amazing you want to do justice to it, or
it's a drab affair.
It's
Look, the reason I chose this film is because it's not something that I'd seen before. So this is probably the first one that
it has a surprisingly, because spoiler alert, I think this film sucks as well. It has a surprising no, that is fair. That is how I feel about it. It has a surprisingly kind of good atmosphere about it. Like that rating on IMDb is very high.
Yeah.
And I struggle to understand it, but we'll maybe try and figure it out.
Parse it out, Jesse. Because like the reason I chose the film was because. So this will be the first time. I'm not sure when you came to the film, but this will be the first time I've ever spoken on the podcast about a film that I've only watched specifically for the podcast.
Okay, fascinating. Yeah.
So the reason I chose it was because I'm a big fan, and I'd be a huge fan of some of the films that have of these type of films that have come out post 2008, The Crash, like for instance, The Big Short, all that type of stuff. All them. There's another one, Too Big to Fail. Really good films, but it's more. They're more specifically around the 08 crash. Now, obviously, I'd seen Wall Street, which is fairly good.
Yeah, I'd specifically referenced and seen in this film.
Yeah, and I was like, well, what were they talking about in a film 8 years before the crash about these kind of finance bros? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry that.
Well, I watched it roughly at the time it was out. I have a friend who listens to these, and I referenced having Sky when I was younger, and he was like, "Oh, Mr. fucking Moneybags." Yeah, fair enough. All right, yeah. All right. Sorry, my dad made a lot of money. Guys.
Out in Leafy turning you over with a Sky dish.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, well, who cares what those poor people think? So I did see it there, and I found it fairly underwhelming even at the time. There are interesting elements in it, some of the bro culture kind of takedowns or representations of that. But I think even at the time I kind of subconsciously picked up on the film is not well directed. Now, I did this a lot in the American Psycho episode. I'm going to try and avoid it, but I cannot help but talk about compare this to something which is The Wolf of Wall Street. And it is just ludicrous watching this after watching The Wolf of Wall Street, because I actually wouldn't have placed Wolf of Wall Street very high in Scorsese's filmography, but it is so
much better,
the masterpiece version of this as to what it's, because it's dealing with the same thing.
Well, essentially, it's rat holes and whatever they call it. And
they had a little more. This film is based on essentially it has actually a disclaimer at the start. This film is not based on anything, you know, blah blah blah, and it is Jordan Belfort and his whole fucking thing. Why someone hasn't just fucking assassinated that prick, I don't know. But anyway,
might be a touchy subject that in the current climate.
I wasn't saying they should do it. I was saying why some people are just. How can you forget what that cunt did? Like, Jesus Christ, like, it's horrendous. Anyway.
He's talking about Jordan Belfort.
By the way, just in case. I remember even at the time, so we'll just hop into it. I remember at the time, and I would have been old enough that I was thinking about how I was interested in movies and how I liked them. So I'm not saying I was coming into this as someone there was a sweet spot when I was like 12 to 14 where I could appreciate films, but I wasn't thinking of them in terms of how they were put together. I really was like, this is a bit janky. The opening scene where everyone's going nuts, but Giovanni Ribisi's kind of like just sitting there, kind of taking
stoically looking out the window.
And it just seemed to me to be like...
the opening thing, the speech or the kind of monologue at the start is quite good. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a little like janky in my memory. I don't know. It seemed to me... that bit I don't think I had a problem with. I think when I was rewatching it again for this, I watched it a few times. It struck me as some of the voiceover was kind of done after the fact.
I know what you mean.
I got some of that. The opening, I don't necessarily think so. I do wonder, was it? It must have been specifically meant to be the opening, like that scene, which is again a good scene, but it just looks so janky compared to Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, like because it's even the whole, because they're all doing coke and drinking on the bus, and and then when you see the buses driving down the road and it pans, it kind of cranes back, and you see the city then in the front, and it's like, where are they coming from? Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Where are they going?
Because they're going to they're in the city, and they're in the city like for the best of my knowledge when they go to the hotel.
Yeah, what I think actually, if you're kind of in New York, kind of people from New York, and it is a fantastic city. There's actually a film, I won't say what it is because it kind of gives away the ending. The whole ending is essentially, I watched it the first time, I was like, oh, they're kind of leaving it open. But apparently I listened to a commentary track and the guy goes, no, they're actually taking the left turn off the Williamsburg Bridge. So this is exactly where this character is going 100%. And I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to know where he's going? I don't come from fucking New York.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe if you're from New York, you're like, oh, they're obviously in fucking Jersey or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I was kind of wondering, are they making a comment on these guys think they're king shits of fuck mountain, but they're actually just, you know, kind of suburb kind of kids or something like that. Yeah. But it just comes off, especially as it compares to Wolf of Wall, it's kind of cheap. And like, now, I can't fault the director for him not having the budget of Wolf of Wall Street, and I will try not to. But when I remember watching Wolf of Wall Street and go, this is a bit over the top in it. And watching this, I'm like, well, where else are you going to fucking go with it? Like, Scorsese, he said this about Casino, and my main problem with Wolf of Wall Street is it's like a remake of Casino, except about a different topic. But he said specifically about Casino, it's a film about excess, so the film must be excessive. And that is the difference between the greatest living filmmaker and the dude who made this, who was like 27 or something, fair enough.
Like, I mean, because I have to say, it gets points for style. Do you know what I mean? And not even, it's more of a feeling. Do you know what I mean? Rather than it looks stylistically great or anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There is something that you go, okay, as he's introducing you to this world of the finance bro and everything, you do kind of go, okay, well, this is stylish, and they do it well. Like from you see the guys at the card game who arrive in.
Yeah, there's one or two effective moments. I really like the bit where they're all grabbing at the food and they're just like these obnoxious fucking pricks. Like, you know, there's some stuff there, but it just felt a little. What immediately threw me off this time watching is, for some reason, so the sequence is like very manic and debauched, and they run into this hotel, and then it stops for like 30 seconds for Jamie Kennedy to do this terrible fucking
about I need some cocaine.
Yeah, like he seems to be like imitating a black woman or something. He's like, you know what I think? I need some motherfucking
and some nose candy,
and it goes on like 5 times. If he said one line of it, you'd be like, all right, it's part of a staccato kind of a rhythm, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like fucking. And this is where the first this is where I went, I'm not going to like this. This is me RJ's moment. Because I mean, Jamie Kennedy, God bless him. I hope you don't listen to this podcast for what I'm about to say. But he has never
should have killed
you. But short of Scream, he has never worked in anything that I've ever seen. I do not like the man. I think he was made to play the character in the Scream movies.
He is very good in those.
He's brilliant. He's perfect, but it's the only. There's no redeeming quality to any performance I can think of.
Yeah, he seems to be a weird kind of a figure. I think he's kind of a stand-up guy, and I know he did a kind of a famously bad New Year's Eve show like ages ago, and I think he's
I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain of Jamie Kennedy. Actually, do you know what? He's effective in Enemy of the State. It's not. He's not,
he plays like a computer guy.
Yeah, he's not complete. No, sorry. So apologies, Jamie. Yeah. But like he's in Son of the Mask and fucking all these.
Jesus! Yeah,
and I don't know who told that man he can rap or that he's in some form way of in black culture. Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause even in this, even the way he's playing it and the way he's talking, it's all very fucking
because there's another scene where he does where they're being insulted in the bar by we're real Wall Street guys.
JP Morgan.
Yeah, the fucking thing just stops, and you can't help but feel like the fucking drummer from That Thing You Do is the Jordan Belfort, the DiCaprio stand-in, and he's not like awful or anything, but you're just like, this is the guy that everyone's motivated by. Like this is the
like well, I don't even know the actor's name. What's his name?
Tom Everett Scott, I want to say. Yeah, he's quite good. I did like at the time That Thing You Do, the Tom Hanks directed film.
I have to be honest with you. This speech that he's given in this kind of opening scene, or main opening scene, if you want to call it that, he's not good. It's not performed well.
No, and it is very first draftish as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, as if they were on a fucking tight schedule and we have one shot to do this. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because he's just not. Even when he's laughing and joking about, I picked him out myself about the prostitutes, and it's like, I don't believe it.
There's something off about it. Yeah, I just keep thinking. I will just have to keep doing this. But the scenes like that in Wolf of Wall Street, now they aren't like the most memorable in cinema history, but you can tell the people who made them were like, how do we wring each drop out of this? Like, what's he thinking here? What's he thinking here? What's he doing here? He's trying to motivate these people. He's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. Like, the scenes have an ebb and flow to them, whereas it's like, get up there and give the out speech, and it could have been a budget thing, but I also just think the director wasn't quite pushing things enough, and he wasn't quite the right actor. It was his
first time directing, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And now the only other stuff I've seen of his, I watched, he made a follow-up to this called Prime, and I remember at the time being kind of like, because the romance with Nia Long's character in this, which we'll get into later, I was like, they're giving a lot of time over to that, and the way the first scene between them in the bar, I was like, he kind of put a lot of, that actually seemed to me to be him trying to do something a bit different. And I turned that movie Prime off after 30 seconds, because 30 minutes, I was like, oh, fuck this. It was very kind of pretentious, and it was trying to be you know that feeling when you have someone in a bar and they like kick off their shoes and it's like a close-up of the feet. I was like, oh, fuck off. So he's just not a director who really appeals to me, but he was very young here, so
a slight bit of benefit
for whatever fucking reason. I'm going to cut him a bit of slack. They did actually seem to cut a bit out of this on the DVD. There's a deleted scene of people actually riding professional women in the hotel room, and I was like, oh, finally something like Wolf of Wall. And they cut it out of a fucking movie, which you can make it out what you will. So that's the opening scene immediately, even back in the day, did not.
I mean, as soon as I saw the Jamie Kennedy Knowles Candy nonsense, I was like,
and even at the time,
it's 2 hours long as well. And it's like,
I remember just thinking, why is Giovanni? It just seemed to me to be like, this is the kind of way characters behave in this kind of a scene. Like we want to show this, as opposed to how he would actually behave. So it seemed to me to be a put on, and the film could have had a more realistic edge going for it, and I think they just didn't follow through with it, you know?
Yeah.
And then we flash back. I always found this a weird detail, him running a fucking casino out of his gaff. Like, I think it was based on someone the director knew or something.
Yeah, but I think what it's trying to do is it's trying to, he's obviously made for... He's doing. He's built for the illegal.
It's just kind of an odd detail, but like it does kind of fit in.
Yeah. That's what it seems. But again, it just seems like it's okay. So obviously he's a illegal card game runner.
He's morally dubious.
So he's gonna fit right in with these guys. It's kind of making you, without putting any work in, it's making you go, oh well, the finance bros are criminals. Essentially.
Yeah, and there's some nice details in there with, obviously the director comes from kind of kind of an upper class Jewish kind of a background in New York, and there is a little bit of stuff like in there, like the privilege and wealth that they have, and there was actually a deleted scene in like a high school or something. They're basically meant to be like first year university students. Giovanni Ribisi looks a little long in the tooth for me there. Like he's only 26. Like you can't really get a 19-year-old. It's interesting actually on the commentary. There's the director, the producer, and Giovanni Ribisi, and he was talking about that. He's like, and I just assumed he was Jewish, Giovanni Ribisi. Now we're Irish, so we cannot automatically tell from someone's name the way they look around what ethnicity they are. In the US, they seem to have the superpower for this. But he goes like, I was raised a Scientologist. And I was like, oh, you wouldn't say that in a commentary. It'd be something to be burying. But yeah, he was kind of talking about getting into the culture of it and all this. So that stuff, I guess, is okay. But it leads into what is not just the cringiest aspect to this film, but one of the cringiest plots in any film I've ever seen, the story with his father.
Ugh.
And now again, just to explain somewhat of the cultural background here, Ireland has changed a lot over the years, but particularly in the 90s and the 2000s. A lot of the stuff that American films were obsessed with, like daddy issues and, we relentlessly tore that apart and just thought you're weak and you're fucking this and that. This film made me think we were onto something back then, as opposed to just suppressing very important feelings.
Yeah,
it is very badly done, and it's very shoehorned in. And again, I think anyway.
And again, yeah, definitely, and because the whole performance of it and the whole conversation of it, is this drugs? Fucking poker chips, like.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They're clearly not drugs, like, and that it pisses me off, like.
Yeah, and that's actually the better scene of it gets progressively worse. I think the scenes with the dad. Yeah,
because like it's all this. So he's obviously a judge, and he's like, you're running an illegal poker game, and my God. And
these are people in our community. That guy's actually a good actor. Ron Rifkin, I think, is his name. But he's actually not that bad in the opening scene, but there's, we'll get to it. But that that subplot is nearly a parody of the daddy trope.
And like, I mean, I try not to do this before the podcast. I might try and look for a critics' consensus or something like that, but I try and steer clear of specific reviews and whatnot. But the one thing that came up through all of it was this stupid father-son nonsense that they just shoehorn in. Like,
it is horrendous. Yeah.
I don't. But like, I'm sitting here racking my brain, going, why? Who made that decision? Like, obviously it was Ben Younger. He wrote and directed, but
it must be something that he felt a personal connection to.
Yeah.
And someone should have just told him, "Look, man, just get
rid of it.
Get it the fuck out of here.
Kill it with fire."
Yeah. So that it's not off to a great start now. The film, I will say, and he's someone I'm ashamed to say I didn't know. A recent update on him. Nicky Cat shows up with Jamie Kennedy. And I just found out, because I was looking this up, he died this year, Nicky Cat.
The guy who plays
like his main adversary ultimately in the other Jewish kind of stockbroker.
Yeah.
He died by suicide this year.
Jesus.
And I was shocked. He was quite young, and I remember everything I used to see him in. He's I think the best thing in this film.
He's very I totally agree with you.
He was brilliant. Like, he was in a ton of great he's a great character in a Steven Soderbergh film called The Limey. Like, me and a friend of mine still quote his character all the time. And he just had a great kind of energy, but a depth to the characters as well. Very, very sad. He shows up with Jamie Kennedy at the casino, and he's driving a Ferrari, and Giovanni Ribisi's very impressed.
And but I mean, there's a short conversation here, and it's just, I don't think it needs to be there. Like, why do we need to know that Giovanni Ribisi knows about Ferraris? Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I mean, I can kind of understand, like, he's trying. I don't think at this stage he's trying to act up for the two guys because he hasn't understood them yet. I think they're trying to make him out that he's more interesting of a character than he is.
Do you know what?
It doesn't work.
That's an interesting. It makes me wonder. Did the guy Ben Younger wrote it as well? Wrote and directed it. Did he just go, "Oh, this is how you show he knows something about wealth. He knows about cars." It's a real American trope.
Yeah, exactly. And I just,
you look at a car and you know everything about it.
That was just like, because I went and I heard that, and like, it can be a fucking death nail for a film for me. Is when if I hear just, not like, don't get me wrong, I don't think not everybody can have Tarantino style dialogue, and sometimes it's just functional. But but if I can't, and that's okay. You can have some amazing stories. Yeah. But I found myself watching that and going, what, that's not functional. Like, it doesn't. It's not actually telling me and it's telling me to turn this off.
It's a bad run of it now here, because that scene again, that's the seduction scene of him getting into it. You compare that to the real seduction scene in Wolf of Wall Street, which is the fucking Matthew McConaughey scene. Which is and the story of how they did that, like, they were just sitting down, he saw him doing this acting exercise. I put that in the fucking these are people who don't just show up and do it. Like, they fucking put effort into it, And with this scene, it's just like, he should know about the Ferrari, right? Like, it reminds me of the Mr. Plinkett reviews of, like, Star Wars, and he says because it's Execute Order 66, and he goes, I bet George was like, Order 666. That's evil. No, that's too obvious. Order 6. No, that's not enough. 66. Yep. And you just kind of go, oh, he's seduced. The guy's a Ferrari. He knows about Ferraris, right? Yeah, like end the story. Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you want to be really kind, you can say that, like, oh, he obviously has a longing for that type of stuff and all. But I just don't.
It's not sold. No. I do like Nicky Cat. Like there's just something about him because he's quite friendly in those other scenes, but there's an edge to him. But then later when he's being villainous, there's like a more depth to him. Like he was a brilliant actor. Like he was
very good. It's
terribly sad. Very sad when I found that.
I hate that when like it happens a lot. Like if you come on to someone and who has a relatively storied career, but they're not at the forefront of anybody's mind, and you do a bit of digging on them, and then you find something shocking like that.
Yeah, he was a big actor for me at the time. I remember he'd always make an impact, and people like that tend to live in your imagination.
In terms of like the cast, because I mean we've kind of been introduced to everybody kind of that we're going to see. I don't think we've met Nia Long yet.
Yeah, she's the only one. She's the only.
But everybody from Vin Diesel, Scott Caan, they're all just like Scott Caan plays a good fucking.
Yeah, he's quite good in it. I've kind of an interesting thing I noticed about that character. But once we show up at the stockbrokers, then that's essentially it. Every cast of characters. There is that awful, this is where it really gets bad, I think. So after that scene, I'm pretty sure it's the scene in the diner with his dad. And when I analyze it, I go, there's actually a really good scene here, because there's a scene of like, is his dad he's trying to he's a modern 90s kind of guy, and he's trying to relate to his dad, and his dad is like, fuck off. But the way it's done is just like, I'm trying to repair what's left of our relationship. Relationship? We're not dating. But he doesn't say it in a funny way. He just kind of says it very flat. Like there's no humor here. Like
I know, and it begs the question again: why? Do you know what I mean? It's because it's adding. Like, I mean, I know they go along with this father-son thing throughout the whole thing, but when this pops up and they're in the diner, it's like, why? I don't get it.
Well, it's so on the nose. Like, I am trying to repair our relationship. Like the idea of his dad going, what the fuck are you talking about, a relationship? I'm not your fucking girlfriend. I'm your father. Yeah. Even I'm giving it a better intonation than the guy, because he's like, what are you talking about? I'm not your girlfriend. And I'm like, look, the guy's a better actor than that. Fucking help him out here. Like, no, play it for comedy, man. Go on, it's okay. Oy. Yeah, sorry, that stuff just... And I would be someone now who I realise now later in my life, like, as I say, I haven't gotten over my father's death. I wouldn't been a daddy's boy. He wouldn't have stood for that now. But, like, it should speak to me...
gay?
A lot, like, it should speak to me a lot more than it does. And I just find myself go like...
Because if it was done well, it probably would, but it's just not.
Yeah, no, it is not. So we go from there into... Again, this is some of the kind of geographic thing of, he makes a point of, these guys are not on Wall Street, they're somewhere else. Yeah. And
that's actually quite interesting, because
there's something there.
Yeah. But again, it's just not done that way. It's just kind of...
Yeah, some of it could be a budget thing, or it is just very kind of stock. I did like, he has a sticker on the car like Jewish mother on board, and he takes it off. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then he shows up, and noted ladies man about town, Giovanni Ribisi, is so attractive to Nia Long that she is like, oh, hello there. She's I'm like, okay.
No, this is the time. I'm gonna. I pronounce her name differently, so I don't know if I'm doing it wrong.
Is it Nia or Nia? I don't know. Yeah.
But Nubian Queen Nia Long, would not. I'm sorry, I don't believe it for a fucking second.
Well, let's be slightly charitable now. If you met him in real life, probably, because he's a guy who can be in movies. Giovanni Ribisi is probably above average handsome for normal people. In a fucking movie, you're like, I'm sorry, like, like Vin Diesel works. Like, I'm sorry,
Like, it's not that goddess Nia Long.
Yeah, I did come across an interview with her about this, and she was being asked, because this is a film people do talk about, to be fair, and she was being asked about it, and she's like, the interview was like, oh, a lot of guys in that movie, Vin Diesel, who the fuck else I'm blanking on Giovanni Ribisi, and she's like, oh, they were all trying to get with me, but she said Vin Diesel came the closest, and she kind of fobbed it off, but I was like, Pretty sure something happened there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you comment, if you want to chime
we're
in
going
on
to
that.
start spreading some vicious rumours.
I mean, I forgot Ben Affleck. I fucking forgot Ben Affleck was. Apparently, he was. She mentioned his name as well.
Now, I just want to point this out because we haven't quite got to the scene yet.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah.
On the DVD, as stated here, it says Ben Affleck has never been better. Now, I'm hot and cold on Ben Affleck, right? Mm-hmm. But to say that this is his magnum opus is just because I mean,
ludicrous. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we can jump ahead a bit, and so he's at the interview.
Yeah, so a bunch of these guys, they're all like 19, and which they're not. You can't actually cast a bunch of 19-year-olds. They're all meant to be kind of young shitheads, which is carried well enough. So they're showing up, and it's going to be this, group interview, and it's the introduction to the whole thing. And
now this could have been so good.
It is self-consciously set up to be a big set piece scene. Yeah.
And as it opens and he kicks the guy out and all, you're like, okay, we maybe they've struck on something here.
That did always stick with. I remember that scene very vividly, that a guy insults another guy.
Get the fuck out of this office.
Now, I'll get into even that scene, even that moment has a problem, but I'll let you give me your thoughts on it first.
So, I mean, it's meant to be, this is the big kind of, this is what we do here, this is how we do it, and
and it's self-consciously the Glen Ross scene. It is just trying to be that.
And I wouldn't even mind Glen Ross's comment is brought a reference next in the next scene. Mm-hmm. But so it's meant to be that fucking Alec Baldwin masterclass speech, and it's just not that.
No.
It's very kind of, it's like, I drive a fucking Ferrari and here's me keys, and it's all very...
He's not quite good enough in the scene, Ben Affleck.
But he's not given, I don't think he's given enough to do,
No, even so, my major problem with it is in the Glengarry Glen Ross, which is a weird name for a movie, but that's what it's called. He's challenging individual people. He's not just giving a speech, he's telling them you're shit. And there's reaction shots of those guys and they're fucking having to take it, and he's insulting them. This is just him talking. He doesn't. So my problem with it is, if it had been shot from Giovanni, specifically shot from his point of view.
I don't like how it's shot at all.
Yeah, it's just shot from
it's content up and down the table.
It's very TV kind of stuff. Now, I remembered liking the moment where he kicks the guy out, but when I rewatched it, I was like, ugh. Because the reason he does it is a guy is sitting in Ben Affleck's chair and he asks him to leave, and then another guy goes, "Oh, you dumb fuck," and then he kicks him out. But the way they do it is the camera zooms in on the guy before he says the line, and you're like, okay. And I'm not someone who says it has to be someone's point of view or anything. But the fact that it's not anyone's point of view, it's like this omniscient, it's this camera that can kind of go anywhere. I'm like, well, I don't really feel anything here. And it's really, that's a
good point.
Weak direction, I should zoom in on the guy because he's going to say something. I'm like, if it were from Giovanni Ribisi's point of view, then you're like, okay, I'm in the room and I'm this guy. And it would have helped it a lot. And it is very, I drive a Ferrari. Look at the smile on my face.
But there is a nice line. I do, I did. It's on the DVD cover as well. It's anyone who tells you money is the root of all evil hasn't got it.
Yeah,
and that is a kill line. I will give it props. That is a kill.
Yeah, that's just.
And he delivers it well as well. But even the part, but as you were saying about the Giovanni Ribisi's point of view, because there's this part of it where he's right up in his face, and you're over the other side of the room, and it's just like.
Yeah. Oh, we have to come on, guys. That's hard. It just seemed like they rushed it along, and Ben Affleck wasn't given the space
or the direction,
or just given enough opportunities to do it again. And it's like, oh yeah, how can I really attack this line? There's some I can see if you're watching the film more casually. There's some lines that are good, or like the line you said, or anyone who says money's real doesn't have any money, or look at the smile on my face, money can't buy happiness, look at the smile on my face. But if you're looking at it and you're remembering Glengarry Glen Ross or Wall Street, this is a bit lacking,
It's completely, because that's right, that's the first thing I thought. And it's like, okay, now I'm not watching this film anymore. I'm thinking about how good Glengarry Glen Ross was.
Yeah. Well, then we go, was it before or after that, actually, he has a meeting with his dad, but he gets into... Oh, no, sorry, I forgot to mention, because I really hated this. The scene where he's invited to go to the place is shot in one wide shot, and it is supposed to be the temptation scene. And it was such a fuck up of direction. Again, I'm like, this should be close-ups. It should be him going, is this what you want? And it's like emphasized. And he just is at the time in his career, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff since, he was a weak director. Like, there's no kind of question about that. So we go in from that. There is some buffer between that scene, because he has to come back and take the job on Monday, but I can't fucking remember what it is, so who cares? But he goes in, and I do remember there's touches of stuff in it that seem authentic, because the guy Ben Younger did actually kind of live this lifestyle.
Okay, yeah.
So he goes in, and Nicky Cat is kind of giving him the rundown and some of the details of it, of like what they do, and I'm like, okay, I can see this. And I did like the moment where he's like, don't do this, and Jim's like, oh, okay, hey, don't give me any fucking lip. I'm trying to fucking help you. And I was like, that is how these arseholes talk. Yeah. They can snap at you in a second, and they're just like, don't you fuck with me, motherfucker. Anyway, let me show you this. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Yes, some of the mechanics of that are interesting enough.
Yeah, but it's played well. It's one of the few.
It is,
what I mean? Because we meet, it's kind of, and it's all these bleeding racial slurs and all being hockeyed around the and it's just, but all that's, because that's probably how they talk, but it all seems very contrived and very kind of I find myself in most of these scenes during this film, I was like, I felt hostage to this podcast, because I would have turned it off.
You wouldn't have kept. It's a pretty, and some people absolutely love it. But I think we skipped over a bit as well. Where and I said it, I'm not just saying it because he's passed away. He was a fucking great actor, Nicky Cat. But there's like 2 or 3 scenes of him with Nia Long. I'll accede to your pronunciation of it, and it just seems like an actor who doesn't know what to do, and is just like, because he's like, oh, did you get those bracelets? I said, do you get this? Don't tell me that's why I'm not hitting it. And I'm like, oh no, oh fuck. Like, it is not him. It's because he's been handed a scene and he's like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what to do here. Anybody, you have to do something, man. We're going to fucking roll. We're in a hurry. But some of the mechanics of it comes closest to being quite interesting when they go through like the details of what they have to do on the phone, but it's not really getting at the underlying morality of it either. It is just like, you worked in one of those boiler rooms. How does it work? Well, here's how it works. Okay, interesting. But you're not getting it. That stuff isn't hyped up that much in Wolf of Wall Street. It's about like, look at these fucking
But
pricks,
even this, like, because I mean, I'm not sure, I'm probably skipping over large bits, but you know what's the fucking point anyway? Do you know what I mean? But like the scene, because Giovanni Ribisi asks Nicky Cat's character, what do I do if someone wants to buy stock there? And then he explains that you jump up on, what's he say?
Reco, yeah.
And so then obviously, I'm sure I'm skipping over something, but it doesn't matter. So you see him at work, do you know what I mean? And you see a couple of scenes of him that making calls, and it's tough. And the people are getting abused, like they're shouting.
They should have had a scene where he was humiliated on the phone, but it just kind of starts off, and I think the closest they come is he's talking on the phone, and Nicky Cat just hangs up the phone for him, and you're like, all right, well,
okay, like, because you're just talking bollocks.
Yeah.
But then obviously he's on the phone to the doctor.
Yes.
And this is fucking, like, he jumps up and he get Reco, fine. But the way they all, like, I mean, maybe this is exactly how it would happen, like, I don't know, but they all come rushing
play
in.
Like American football to get over there.
And Vin Diesel takes the call. When you watched Wolf of Wall Street and you see him sell that aviation stock, the penny stock, that
is so much better,
because he's there and he's not even, like, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're trying to look cool. You can't hear what that man is saying because you're holding the phone like this.
Yeah.
And that just pisses me off.
Yeah,
and he's doing the whole thing. I did like one part I did like about it was he goes, everybody's stone soiled, and he goes, I'll just open the office door, and then everybody starts screaming, and then
on playing ball with him.
That was a cool.
Compared to there's a great bit we'll just talk about Wolf of Wall Street, but there's a great bit where he's on the phone to the guy and the guy's like, dude, that's my mortgage, and he's like, yeah, you could pay off your mortgage. Like, just that, like, these people do not give a fuck. Now there is something to the way they're trying to do it in this, of the kind of bro showy off aspect of it, but it is just not like, again, I will just keep having to bring it up. I just have a feeling if you had handed Martin Scorsese the script for Boiler Room, he still would have eventually turned it into Wolf of Wall Street. He would have spent the time and figured out, it might have taken him 2 years. It's like, oh my God, we've the wrong main character. Fuck. It should be this guy, because what are we getting at? We're getting at the root of what's in everyone's fucking... Maybe there's some hardcore fucking communists out there. Write a comment, guys. But like, what is the dark heart of us?
Yeah.
That's what we're getting at, and you're not the fucking guy who's like, you're the guy. It's more dramatically profound to be
the thing is, as well,
fucking ubermensch of it. Like,
but it just because I mean, obviously Scorsese is a fucking master. Mm-hmm. But like, you're looking here, and at no time do you ever feel like, oh, these are bad people. These are the worst of society. These are even though it's telling you these things, and they're selling dodgy stock and they're doing finagling behind the back, but you never go, oh, you never turn on any of these characters like you do Jordan Belfort in the Wolf of Wall Street.
It's never confrontational.
No,
like it is always like, look at what, even the main, he does do some stuff that you're like, geez, that's pretty fucking bad, but you never feel like you're being confronted with like, this is who you are. Now again, I know there's people who wrangle against that and like, oh, I never did what Jordan Belfort did. It's like, I never did either, but I do sometimes go, yeah, fucking, if I was in a position to just make some fucking dough, would I just do something very immoral? And I'm ashamed sometimes to go, I don't know what I do, you know?
Yeah, like everybody likes to think they'd be on the right side of history, like anything, like, do you know what I mean?
It's like, oh, I wouldn't kill someone for money, but it's like, would I fuck someone out of just enough money that they'd be all right, but they'd be really upset? That's where.
But that's why people go mad over scammers and all this, like over in India and Africa. But at the end of the day, but like it or lump it, it's a cultural thing. They just don't think it's that bad. That's why they're doing it.
Well, we're all fucking.
Have you seen some of these places? They're all high tech call centers, like they're not breaking the law where they are, like, do you know what I mean? Well,
we like to think we're fucking different over here, but like, you know, like, who hasn't sold something like in a job, if you have a chance, you have some, like, I don't know, someone comes in, you're like, oh, you're a bit of a prick, I'll charge you €50 more or something. Like, who fucking hasn't done that? Yeah. So that's why, again, that's when you hand a master something and you hand a schmo something. So to talk about, I'll give it some credit, even though it features some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard in my life. It is, so Neil Long for some reason thinks
Giovanni
out
Ribisi
of all the fucking alpha male fucking beautiful men working in this place, Giovanni Ribisi is the guy for her. I do kind of like the atmosphere. I thought the lighting was a bit off, but the atmosphere of the scene with them in the bar, I was like, oh, okay, that feels kind of authentic. And it's intercut with the scene of the guys in the bar talking to the real Wall Street guys.
The JP Morgan guys. And but the dialogue between the JP Morgan guys and then Vin Diesel and Scott Caan and all is just like, oh,
it's so on the fucking nose. You guys look like you're from Gotti's crew. Oh. And it's like, oh, 2 takes. Yeah, we got it. Now, the scene with Nia Long and Giovanni Ribisi, it is not a small thing. Which speaks to where we still are, even today, that it's an interracial romance. Having said that, the scene features a line where he goes, yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It doesn't seem to be the ideal environment for an African-American woman to work in. And I was like, who the fuck signed off on that line?
Yeah, but who would say it?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Maybe
like in that situation,
our Yank friends write in and tell us how you speak to each other.
I'm sorry, you would not say, if you're on a date or you're trying to flirt or whatever with a black woman, you're not saying that.
Funny enough, at the start, she makes a joke about, he says, he starts to kind of ask her and she goes, oh, you think I'm some broke black woman who slings crack or something like that? And he goes, yeah, I was going to say heroin, and I was like, that seems like something you might actually say, like a little antagonistic. But he just basically is like, it was as if someone write a note about what this scene is about. The scene is about him asking if it's a comfortable place for an African, and they somehow ended up in the dialogue. It just seems like a mistake. Like, how the fuck did it? Oh God, it was.
The thing is, one thing that about this, and this is more of a performance thing, because I mean, I quite like Giovanni Ribisi in most things that he's in.
Yeah, he's a solid actor. I remember him in Friends. He
Sneaky
was good.
Pete, he's great in Friends, and I'm a big, we can probably discuss this as further down the line, but I'm a big fan of Gone in 60 Seconds. I think he's great in that as well.
Quick story about that, but later. We'll come back to that. Yeah, it does connect to this film.
The performance, and there's no chemistry. We spoke about chemistry on the last episode, and there's no chemistry. I don't feel a romantic flame burning between Neil Long and Giovanni Ribisi.
Big time, yeah. They seem to be trying hard with the the mise en scène of the scene. Sorry, guys, I couldn't think of a better word there. But
for non-film aficionados, that is everything in the scene.
Yeah,
every single thing.
Basically, the overall tone of it or whatever. But yeah, it does not work. And at the risk of putting anyone off, it's not because they're interracial or anything. It is just.
It just doesn't work. There's no chemistry.
Well, she is just fucking this gorgeous creature, and he's Giovanni Ribisi. Like, I can't think of another way to fuck it. And he's a perfectly charming kind of a guy, but there's just something that you're like, there's a It just isn't gelling here, you know. Culture war grifter race warriors. We don't mean what you think we mean.
Yeah.
So we go into there's some solid enough stuff with how he gets better and better at being on the phone, which again I don't think really goes to any particular end, but you know it is kind of a detail.
I did it was quite humorous when he gets the sales call for the paper. When he's sitting and eating his breakfast, and he's like, hang on, pitch me, like, do you know what I mean? And
that's actually quite good.
Because it really shows you that he's now confident in what he's doing. Like, because at the start he's kind of sheepish and all, as you are in any kind of.
And it's made him an arsehole, which is actually kind of a deeper point.
Exactly, because it's very funny. He goes, "So are you gonna buy a paper?" No, I read the Times. And he just hangs up. That way, that's good because there are very, very small fragments of a film here.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I think we're
just not well executed anyway.
Yeah, I think we skipped. There's a not awful scene with him and his family in a restaurant where his dad is a little like. Again, it's not good, but it's more believably how parents kind of act. Like, I would have thought you'd work for JP. His dad seemed to think it's easy to get a job at JP Morgan or whatever, where you can argue about that. But he gets up and leaves because his dad goes, "So you just have to close the casino." And I'm like, so his dad wants him to stop doing something that could get him in prison. And his wife then is like, "Why did you have to bring that up?" And I'm like, he should fucking break into that house and shut the fucking thing down. Like, he's a bad father for letting his son just keep running the place.
Yeah, it's like, and especially the reputation of a judge. Like, do you know what I mean? He's ruined.
Yeah, I am completely on the dad's side for the whole thing. So throughout all of this, Giovanni Ribisi, I think, there's a really fucked up, but I don't mean fucked up in a good way, I mean they fucked it up. I think there's a scene in the bar where now Scott Caan, who is James Caan's son, who was having a good run at the time. I think he ended up on Hawaii 5-0 for like 20 years. And
he's been in some, like, he was great in Oceans.
He was, I forgot that he was in those.
He's had a couple of good roles over the years.
Yeah, he's a solid. He's very good in this actually. Now, what I actually, looking back, I kind of like is the way the character sets up. He's quite actually. If you look at the box, he's in front of Vin Diesel on the fucking box, which I find weird. But he never has an actual.
That's not
scene.
A very
no, that's not a very flattering portrait. No.
Wow, look.
The way he's set up is. He's like the guy in a friend group who's always there, but you never talk to him. Yeah, that's exactly how he is to Giovanni.
But he causes all the trouble.
He causes all the trouble. Yeah. So there's a scene with all them in the bar, and they're all fucking like gambling, and a guy who is clearly not an actor and is a stuntman because it is fascinating because some people are like, oh, so and so is a bad actor. I'm like, go and watch the scene where Nicky Cat is like he kind of bumps into this guy at the bar. And see someone who actually just cannot act. Because Nicky Cat's brilliant and he's over here doing his thing. And then it cuts to this guy and you're getting nothing out of him. And it's weird. Like, it's uncanny valley almost. And then Scott Caan kicks off and beats the shit out of him. Which
I thought, again, it's very small fragments of a film here. Because the way Giovanni Ribisi trying to stop it and he's being held back from stopping it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's something.
I did find it interesting how, and they actually mentioned it on the commentary. So Nicky Cat after that gives him a lift home in the Ferrari, and Nicky Cat is dropping insulting terms about Italian Americans. Like, he calls them, I don't know how. I don't think this will get us banned around with like Guidos and all this. But then at the end of the scene, he uses the N-word and he goes, these people are N-word rich. And that's where Giovanni Ribisi's like,
what N-word?
North, I think it is. And Giovanni kind of looks at him like, oh, I'm disappointed. I'm like, now, that word is the most unacceptable word in the English language for a reason. But I was like, he was saying something about Italian Americans like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, but it's like, obviously that word is a no-no. We all know why, and we all know why you shouldn't use it.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody. I just don't think anybody else, any culture or ethnicity, has gone through enough to justify with that word being really bad. Like, because we get paddy, the Italians get Guido.
No, there's no comparison even to.
No, but it's not. No, I'm not trying to compare it, but I'm just saying nothing's really. Nobody really cares enough.
No, exactly. There is a word actually. I've heard someone bleep another word for Italian, so I won't risk our algorithm with it. The one that begins with W for Italians. I've heard someone bleep that in a video.
You can say it and I can bleep it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wop, yeah.
Well. Never even heard of it.
I never heard of that one, no. Jesus. It's been in a bunch of movies. But I just found that kind of an interesting detail. Like, he can say whatever he wants about it, but he mentions that one word. But like, it does show like what this guy is like.
But that is true though, because I mean, I can sit there and like,
actually,
and then if someone says that word and actually says it, because I mean, I grew up listening to gangster rap, like, do you know what I mean? So I've said it in that context. Yeah. But when someone brings it, when you actually hear people say it and they mean it how it's meant, it's very fucking shocking.
I mean, it's actually like that moment is effective, but I did find it kind of, because they mentioned on the comment, he says that, and then it's like, oh, I was like, well, he was kind of saying like he wasn't holding back on the. Now, having said that, it does kind of point to something in the character. There is nice work in that though, where he's kind of talking about how he's scared of these guys. Nicky Cad, he's like, this isn't like us at it's got a seminary school or something that, where a shoving match and someone getting their yarmulke knocked off.
They'll break your face. Like.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is actually him connecting with Giovanni. That's what I mean. Like, he really made you feel that like he's trying to connect with this guy, and then in the next scene he just pulls up and he's like. You stay the fuck away from, and he's kind of saying like she's a skank or whatever, Nia Long's character, and he's like, oh yeah, okay, good thing you broke up with her, ha ha ha. And this is, I think, the first scene, because he got dropped off late at night, where Giovanni Ribisi sees something that makes him think, oh, there's something shady going on at this incredibly shady place that I'm already working. The guy shredding the documents or something like that, yeah. So, geez, we push on then.
What else? Where else? There's Devil's Advocate has the exact same scene.
That's right, yeah. This scene is, to be fair, actually more relevant to the story.
Exactly.
There is something it seems to be a shorthand for something's not quite right. Shredding documents.
That's true, yeah.
Well, why else would you be doing it, I suppose?
Exactly,
So yeah, again, if anyone who's seen Wolf of Wall Street, these guys are like the penny stock kind of guys. Like, they're selling shitty shares for things that aren't real companies and all this. This kind of becomes revealed later on. We are introduced, I think, to the FBI investigation fairly early on here.
Is this where because they have a profile on him and they're like, this is the guy we can turn.
Yeah, this is the guy who's dating this guy, and he's starting. There's some good scenes where he's selling on the phone, and so a significant character then shows up. A guy he's selling to, a guy who's it's one of the more believable bits of the film. So just a random guy, and he calls him up, and he very slickly kind of talks him into buying shares. And the guy's like, I have to talk to my wife. No, you don't have to talk to your wife. Where do you work? And I was like, okay, that just the way he finagled around it, it was. I bought into it. I was like, okay, yeah.
Do you make decisions?
Yeah,
I
can see that.
Do you call your wife for that? Because I mean, I used to work in sales for Sky, right? So one of the questions I'd always ask, I was talking to a man. Because the thing, you always got that from a man, oh, well, I'll have to pass it by the wife. But so what you'd ask is, at the start of the call, who controls the remote?
Really?
Yeah.
And this is what Sky tell you to do, is it?
No, well, it wasn't specifically said, but we had
Leonardo DiCaprio comes in with a script.
Yeah. But no, you'd say, who controls the remote? And all the men, and you'd say it jokingly, like, you wouldn't say... and the men would go, so me. And then at the end of it, you'd go... I thought you would control the remote. And when I tell you, they crawl up themselves. And fucking, I'd say 75% of the time it worked.
Yeah.
You'd get them over the line.
It is, there's something there, because there's something weird in, like, and I feel it, because I haven't ever bought anything over the phone that I deeply regretted, but I feel like I can't just hang up. It's like, of course you fucking can. You can't just, now some of the really, you get people calling up who are obviously scammers, and I have kind of led them down the path and then been like, fuck you. But some of them are absolutely... I told one of them once, because I was fucking around and I deeply regretted it, but I said, I'm sorry, Tommy, I don't have the use of my arms. Could you possibly call back tomorrow? And, why the fuck? And then he fucking did. He called back, and my dad was really sick at the time. My mum went fucking ape shit at me. Maybe fair enough, but I was like, I didn't think the cunt would actually call back. And I told him like I'm disabled basically, and the fucker still, Jesus Christ. Anyway, but I did like that. Now this guy, if you think actually how it ended up in the film is bad, you should see the original ending for this. So this is a guy who becomes significant later because he invests a little bit in this shitty stock that they have. And then later on, he calls back to try and dump it. And Giovanni Ribisi, again, fairly plausibly, talks him into buying more. And the guy drops eventually $50,000.
Yeah, from his wedding fund. Or he's buying a house.
Buying a house, yeah. And they did have a scene like where some of it's the direction again lets it down. But
because what happens is the stock starts to tank.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he convinces...
Yeah, he goes like, "Oh, it's down, but it's going to
bounce back up.
You can buy even more shares because it's cheaper now. I wouldn't do this to you." And the guy's like, "Okay, yeah." And again, these people are out there, so you're like, "All right, fair enough." I won't say it was 100% convincing, but it was good enough that I go, "Okay, yeah, fair enough." And then, fuck it, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at it. Goes through a bunch of bullshit, but then eventually the stock just tanks again. And he calls back, and it was a pretty good scene like of Giovanni Ribisi, and he's like, "Sell the fucking, I want my money back." And he's like, "I can't do that." And he just hangs up, and he kind of looks a bit, and you're like, "Oh, that's a good moment." And then it cuts to the guy who bought the stock in his office, and he like looks over and picks up a picture of his family, and I'm like, don't even have him look at the fucking picture. I get it. Like, that's the difference between this guy and a great artist. Because there's a moment in Wolf of Wall Street where they're having like one of their parties and they get your one to shave her head. And it's like, whoa, yeah, fuck. And then they move on and it cuts back to her looking at the money with her hair kind of falling off her head. And she just has this look on her face like, what the fuck?
Did I just do?
And that says everything. It says that moment says more than all of this film put together. Like, and it fucking brilliant. And how would you know that shot would say so much? If you're pushing and pushing, that's how it goes. So I will give them credit now. That is a scumbag move, taking that guy's money, because he knew by that stage. So just to catch up to the plot, he's been investigating, and he knows for a fact we're selling shit. Like this stuff is fucking awful. And again, he's been making the beast with two backs with Nia Long this whole time, and Nicky Katt's kind of turned on him. By this stage, and they have that pretty pathetic scene where he won't give him the final sale, and he like pushes him on the ground. It's like it looks like something out of a student film.
Like, it's no way. Like you could have just shot that differently and. Got a stunt man. It
should have been a fucking
properly.
fist fight. Like it should have been. Again, to Scorsese's point, it's a film about excess. It's a film about bros, and it's a film about they should be fucking. And we did skip over. So the film does touch on some of the, and it was praise, I think, for this at the time. So they mention Glengarry Glen Ross, as you said, and then there's a scene in Ben Affleck's house where he rolls up and they're watching Wall Street. And they're all quoting the film, and they know it kind of word.
Now, is that real? Like, is that?
Your man,
do you know what I mean?
Said,
what I mean is, would they really be doing that, or would they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, your man said on the commentary that they do quote it a bit, but the exact thing, And actually, I was more disappointed this time because I was like, this is too. I think because it wasn't set in like the early 90s or anything. I was like, these guys are supposed to be, the nouveau riche buying all this shit. And the quality of the copy of Wall Street they were watching, I was like, did he tape it off? Shouldn't he have a fucking laser disc or a DVD or something? Like, it's a really old kind of VHS copy. And I was like, ooh. That's it's attention to detail,
Yeah.
That is me being a complete prick now, but I was like, but like, I did the touch of the house looks like he just moved in and that kind of
it's
thing.
It's all polished and clean.
Yeah, you're like, all right. So the FBI are kind of closing in, and so... what was your take on the wonderful scene where his father finds out what kind of a firm he's been working for?
Is this the scene where he's trying to get money off him?
No, it's the one just before that. Just before that,
It's fucking pointless. It's like...
Yeah.
It's because obviously we've mentioned this whole fucking father-son subplot is just poxy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
My God, we skipped out on the bit on the date with Neil Long where he tells a story about his dad.
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
He's like, my dad bought me a bike and I crashed my bike when I was like 11 and I was bleeding and my dad, I was crying and my dad hit me on the face. I don't know why he did that. And as I said, even at the time, I was like, ugh, the fuck is this shit? Fuck this. So then later on, and it is not just the worst directed scene in the film. It is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen.
It's not good.
Yeah, he shows up for a meeting with his dad, and on the commentary track, the guy said, "This is all in one take on purpose." Because I was like, okay, they had 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This can't have been. His dad walks into like a wide 2 shot and he just goes, "You unbelievable piece of shit." That's how he opens the scene. "You unbelievable piece of shit. I just found out from a neighbor, JT Marlin is a chop shop. You sell stocks. You don't ever fucking talk." And it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? It is so profoundly misdirected, the scene.
There's no direction in it.
Beggars, but yeah.
They just turned the camera on. Do you know what I mean? Because nobody told Rifkin to fucking be and but monotone. And like as you said, there's actors out there who aren't like your kind of methods. Like, do you know what I mean? They need to be told what to do. And if you don't tell them what to do, they'll just do it. Yeah, and it won't be good.
It's not necessarily an actor's job to exactly know what to do. That's why a fucking director is there, you know? And I was like, how should this have been done? Again, like if it were shot from his point of view and he sees his dad walking up, because he thinks it's going to be a happy meeting.
Yeah.
And then like there's the moment where he realizes something's up, and that the opening, it should not have been the opening line, "You unbelievable piece of shit." I'm like, come on, man, fucking change that. But there was just no drama to it. It was just like, "You unbelievable."
At this stage, I have to be honest. At this stage, I'm even trying to think. I'm so kind of a passenger watching this film now. At this stage, the kind of analytical eye has long been closed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not joking as well. Like, so
yeah, I did see it, I think, a few times on TV back in the day. Like it was a film with bad language in it, I suppose, and like it's an interesting, like it was an untouched kind of subject matter at the time. But yeah, Jesus, we're rewatching it now. I was like, oh my God, it's way worse than I remembered. So the FBI, the kind of strangleholds, they have contacted Nia Long, and she's obviously, I do like how she is being deceptive to him, and they never close the loop on that. You never find out, like she never says she's sorry, or he never really talks to her about it. But you know that they're kind of closing in. And then he goes, however, actually, the previous scene was really bad, but he's decided, okay, I'm going to quit. I'm tired of this. He does have a moral kind of like, okay, fuck, I can't continue. Yeah, like
you do get the feeling that when he sold more of the shares, that was a turning point for him. That was like,
he nearly couldn't help him. Yeah, like there was something to that.
Yeah.
So then he has the
other meeting with his father, where he's trying to get money off him.
Yeah, and it is just
it.
I just felt sorry for both of the actors because he's like, "Oh, Dad, I want you to I'm going to quit, and if you just want to, I'll sell this stock." And I'm like, okay, he's meant to be kind of pathetic and he's meant to be kind of begging, so okay. And then the scene turns into like, here's the Oscar moment, like, and he's really pushing it, and he's this is why I'm always, when people are like, oh, actors are so this or so that. And I am like, okay, imagine you show up at work and you absolutely pour your heart into something and you try your best. And then everyone in the world mocks you for it because someone else fucked up and made you look like a fucking idiot. I always go to, there's a Guy Pearce, who I think is an amazing actor. I was watching some film where he's a sheriff on Amazon. I was like, Guy Pearce is a sheriff, I'm in. And the film was made for fuck all money. There's a scene where he's obviously holding an airsoft gun and he's pretending to do recoil on it. And he looks so stupid. And I'm like, can you imagine being a genuinely amazing actor with a great career and like through no fault of your own, millions of people might laugh at you. So Giovanni Ribisi here wants his Oscar. Maybe you should be mocked, I don't know. But he's like, Dad, do you remember when I was 11 and you hit me? And he's bawling his eyes out. And what I couldn't say is like, I don't know how to make you happy. I closed the casino. And his dad, this is the worst part. He's like, wait, you closed the casino? And I was like, his dad would just be like, of course you closed the fucking casino, you shithead. But his dad goes like, oh, wait a minute, you closed the casino. As if like that makes up for it. So I was like,
for fuck's sake, like, and because I mean, like I said, the analytical, he was long closed at this part, and I just went, I don't care.
Yeah, well, it was, even if you're along for the ride, the scene is pathetic. Like, and I'm like, why would he fucking bring this up? Like,
and if there wasn't multiple Jesus lads moments up into this, that was a big one. That really turned it. Like, the next thing I remember from this film is him trying to get the cell sheet signed. I don't remember anything else. Yeah, I'm genuinely like.
Well, he gets arrested and then, but like, oh geez, that scene, I don't know how to close the loop on it, but it's just something like, didn't anyone go, what has this really got to do with Anton? Or like, isn't it so trite? Like, you know, okay, he gets involved in this thing that, you know, actually says something about human nature, but he just wants his dad's approval. I'm like,
just have to realise that we have to try and come up with a non-submersible unit. I think
that'll be tough.
We might have to join forces and just try and pick one.
Yeah. So he's arrested by the FBI, and his dad is kind of pulled in. His dad does have a change of heart and says, okay, I'm not going to help you. He has some scam that they never quite explain what he wants to do, and his dad called him up and said, I'll help you out. So the FBI arrests Giovanni Ribisi. When he shows up, his dad is there, and Giovanni Ribisi sacrifices himself by saying, I won't help you unless you get my father out of here through the back door or whatever. And you're like, okay. And they go, okay, go in tomorrow and we're going to take down the firm or whatever. Now, so he goes in, and so this is going to be his last day, and the FBI is raiding the place. He just has to copy his hard drive, which seems unnecessary because they're going to raid the place anyway. But anyway, fuck it. So what happens is,
oh my God, you're right.
I will give it credit that there's 2 reshot scenes that I'm like, okay, they're actually kind of good. So what he plans to do is they have a new stock coming out, and he wants to trick the company into giving the guy he fucked out of 50 grand some of the shares so he can make some of his money back.
Right, yeah.
That is a complete addition. That is a reshoot, which was not in the original at all. In the original, the guy who was on the phone you see him at home in his garage pulling out a gun and like loading it and cocking it. He's going to go in and kill everyone in the building. But so he decides, okay, I'm going to do this. And the scene where he tricks the boss into giving him the shares, this is actually kind of good and well written, because there's a goal to the scene. He wants to get out of it, and he's very manipulative, and he manipulates Nicky Katt's character, who he's had a complete falling out with, and you know he gets his way because he makes Nicky Katt look foolish to the boss as opposed to really making a great argument, and it's kind of plausible. Now he's noticeably looks different in the scene because he'd been off filming Gone in 60 Seconds, and he bulked up, so he looks, if you look for it, he looks heavier in the face, but I did not really notice it. But it's a complete, and it's the only thing that actually happens at the ending. Like, he doesn't do anything else other than fucking copy his hard drive onto a floppy disk. And the scene then with where he gets Vin Diesel, which again is a scene with drama and stakes, and it's actually quite good. There's two quite good scenes in a row that are reshot, because in the original ending he just hands Vin Diesel a note, and you see Vin Diesel packing his bag because he's been told, we're going to get in massive trouble here, And there's quite a good scene where he confronts Vin Diesel, and he's like, we knew what we were getting into.
To be fair, that's I will be honest, that because I'm sitting there blankly watching this, and I keep checking the fucking run time. It's like watching a microwave; it's just never ending. Like, do you know what I mean? But this,
never boils.
I will point out that this kind of made me go, hang on, there's actually something here. Like,
it's one of those things where you go like. Because we were saying on a recent episode, The Usual Suspects, they were just kind of left alone. But with this, it seemed to me like when someone goes, hey, hang on, like fucking, you got to have something here. And you're like, it's actually starting to get good now. Like, it's not great, but there's something.
But it's getting good 5 minutes before the fucking end.
There's a bit of stakes, like, and there's something like, if he doesn't get this, that's bad because the guy won't get his money back and all this. So then essentially the film just ends. Vin Diesel signs the order, and your man Giovanni Ribisi leaves, and the place is raided by the FBI. The original ending was he's leaving the offices, and he does kind of say, I think a lot about what ifs these days and blah blah blah. But as he's walking out, and the guy he sold the shares to is walking in, It's so fucking lame. But they're walking and they don't bump into each other, but the guy drops his briefcase just in front of Giovanni Ribisi, and Giovanni Ribisi picks up a case with the gun in it and hands it to him, and he was like, "Thank you so much, I really appreciate it." "Hey, no problem." And they walk on. And on the commentary, the director's like, "Yes, the irony of, this guy's fucked him over. He doesn't even know what he looks like." And I'm like, yes, fascinating. Absolutely amazing. So however lame the ending is, I remember seeing it for the first time and going, what a lame ending.
Yeah, I'm just getting annoyed now thinking about it because, why did the fucking FBI ask him to do anything? Do you know what I mean?
Don't they have enough?
Because obviously if they have enough to raid the place, what's the difference in his... What's so secretive about his hard drive?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just...
God knows. Yeah, if they'd actually... You have to go into the boss's office at least. Now, that'd be a bit too Mission Impossible, but at least it's something like... Yeah, it's... I do find it hard to pick out... We haven't talked about it.
The way it just ends, though, as well. Because, I know it's bad for the most part.
Yeah.
But the way, even just the fucking laziness of it all.
Yeah, I found it very, even at the time, I remember this is so anticlimactic. What the fuck is this?
What have we just done?
And again, you compare it to Wall Street, and which...
The ending of that film is sublime.
Yeah.
Where it's sell me this pen. He ends up doing
I know,
this.
back the loop begins, and again, I think I said on one of the episodes, but the camera moves out and it's like, oh, that's us. Oh my God. As opposed to, hey, isn't this kind of something weird that happened in my early 20s?
Yeah.
Now, it is unfair to compare it to a film that came out much later, but it's fair to compare the sensibilities of the two films. Like, this is a guy who's just like, hey, yeah, what if you're a guy caught up in the moral and you're like, well, who's the more interesting character? Like, because I do actually find myself now, this will seem very off fucking topic, but do you ever hear that cult, the guys who all killed themselves down in Guyana, the Jim Jones cult, the Kool-Aid guys? Yeah. Now, just to get who the fuck knows, but there's a documentary about that where, they interview people who were in the cult and all this. And then he basically had like a kill squad, Jim Jones, who went out and murdered. There was a senator who was down there. And I was like, wait a minute, who are these fucking guys who were so in his pocket that they just went out and murdered people? And you never hear anyone talk about them. And I'm like, so now that's a different thing because the people who are just in the cult are interesting stories. But I'm like, who are those guys and how did they get so sucked into it? Now, maybe there isn't something there, but if you look at stories and you're like, who's interesting here? It isn't the fucking guy who's like, oh, geez, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. It's in this case, it's the guy who's like the monster, but who's like, you want to live in this fucking gaff, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to be married to Margot Robbie, don't you? You want to come home in a helicopter. You want to be fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it just speaks to the sensibilities.
So I don't think we should go any further on Boiler Room.
We're going to come to non-submersible units. I think I can come up with the only thing, and it's going to be when I think of a film in a positive way, which is rare.
Does it have to be? Because I know we've kind of set the parameters for non-submersible units, but I think is it not just things that you remember?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
or does it have to be good?
It's not Ben Affleck. I think of Vin Diesel for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. I've always kind of liked him, but. When I think of something positive about the film, he's pretty good in it. He doesn't have any janky moments. Yeah. I know the scene where he does the first sales call. Yeah, it could be better. But he plays a nice guy kind of a character. And I think Nicky Cat is way better. But there's something about Vin Diesel that kind of go, oh, yeah, I think see people liking that.
If we're using non-submersible units as something that you'll remember from the film, I will forever remember that there's no way in Christ Neil Long is that attracted to Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah.
I will never forget that.
Oh, God, no. Jeez, it was a strains credibility, I think is the phrase I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a shame because we actually skipped over. There's a few other scenes with Ben Affleck that are trying so hard.
But see, that's why I'm so amazed that it says Ben Affleck has never been better, because I don't think he's in this film because he's Ben Affleck. Yeah. He's not in this film because he has an amazing character or a lot to do. They don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, he signed on for it because and I don't mean this in a bad way because I do and mean in a bad way, but I do like Ben Affleck, but it kind of plays to your ego. I do the Glengarry Glen Ross thing. I'm Alec Baldwin. And I'll give him respect because he's someone who wants to be a serious actor and do serious stuff. I think he's an amazing movie star who is a pretty good actor. Actually, I won't even say pretty good. He's a good actor. But he is let down here. And I don't think he let himself down. I think he was kind of seduced by the idea more than the script. Yeah.
So if we were to jump to a rating... This is
2. I give it a 2. Am I being too charitable?
Oh my God. I was thinking giving it a 1 would be too harsh.
Too generous.
But I wouldn't go 2. I'd
Well,
1.5.
Yeah, it's.
I listen. If you'd like exercises in self-flagellation, sit down and watch this film. But if you want a film of this type, just watch the fucking Wolf of Wall Street, or watch Wall Street.
Yeah,
because that's just much better.
When I imagine, like, if we had people in the comments, sign off in the comments, guys, I can just imagine them saying, like, I grew up watching it, or I like these lines, because some of the lines in and of themselves are
like
good.
the line that's the tagline on the box is I found really interesting. Like anybody who says money's the root of all evil doesn't have any, and I didn't. But that's kind of where it stops for me. Then, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, you could I'm kind of giving a hard time over it attacking its team, but to be fair to it now, like. People misunderstand the Wolf of Wall Street, so you can't really say like
Jordan Belfort's not the hero. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, my God in heaven,
But just like Patrick Bateman, he has been turned into this fucking meme of what a man should be. Like,
yeah, well, it does just speak to like putting the effort into because you know the scene in Wolf of Wall Street where he eats the guy's goldfish, and again, there's just a lingering shot of that guy after he's been humiliated, and it says so much more than this entire film. And it's just like, how can you know that a bit of a guy eating a goldfish isn't ridiculous? It's actually saying something about the human condition. But it is just when someone is let loose on something and really pushes. It does kind of, the comment I made earlier, I'm going to go slightly off on a tangent because there's not enough about this. But when I said, it does remind me of, if you gave Scorsese this script, he'd still turn it into Wolf of Wall Street. There used to be a great comedy show where they'd parody these Hollywood producers, and they said a guy came to us with a script, Reservoir Dogs, and we were like, nobody likes reservoirs, make it an alleyway in a city, and dogs, nobody likes that, so choose another animal. We ended up with Top Cat the movie. And it just strikes me as you'd nearly end up with, here man, here's my script, and you come back like 5 years later, it's like, here's this completely other thing, and it's like, well, okay, this is obviously way better, but like it just speaks to push it a bit harder, man. Like, don't. But it was a unique at the time. To give it credit, I can't think of another film from the same era that deals with this at all. So okay,
because it is, and one of the quotes on the thing is Wall Street for a new generation, like which it isn't. Just watch Wall Street.
Yeah, Wall Street. Don't watch the sequel. Wall Street Money Never. Fuck me, that was awful. Jeez, I only saw it once in the cinema, but anyway.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, guys, if you like this movie.
Please let us know.
Please,
maybe I'm completely wrong.
It is lost on us, but what is it that you like about it? I as I say, I think it's some of the like maybe nostalgia and just like some of the lines and the cast. Like outside of apart from their work here, the cast is good.
Because I mean, they've all gone on to have. Because I mean, none of them were massive, other than Ben Affleck probably at this time.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Vin Diesel is obviously Vin Diesel. Like.
Yeah, he was.
Giovanni Ribisi's gone more into TV, but he's still massive in that world. Like, you know what I mean?
And just in loving memory of Nicky Cat, he is very good in this. And if you haven't seen it, watch Steve. He's a small partner, but he's amazing in this film called The Limey by Steven Soderbergh. And he had some other big fucking movie at the time, but I cannot think. But he just was someone who really made an impact, and I was very, very, very sad when I read up on it, because he still had some good work in him. Like, he was only in his mid-50s. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's very sad.
On that sad note,
yeah.
I would like to formally apologise to anybody who decides to watch this film in run-up of this podcast.
Yeah, if you're someone who watches the movie, tune into the podcast.
I apologise.
And I apologise to Giovanni Ribisi. I'm sure
Neil Longwood's love him.
I'm sure the ladies soak their socks when you walk into a room.
Okay, so we've got some, I don't know how you describe it. So obviously spooky season is almost upon us.
Indeed it is, yes.
October.
It's that time of the year, yeah.
The witching month. I don't know if anybody's ever called October
Samhain, as they say.
Samhain in Halloween
3.
But yeah, so we've got a few surprises. Obviously we're going to lean more into the kind of horror slasher.
Yes, sir.
World. So
and I'm sure they'll all be masterpieces.
Yes, every single one of them, because it's so easy to make a great horror masterpiece.
Yeah.
But we hope you join us for that. So the next couple of episodes will be more kind of focused on horror and stuff, and we'll see. You might have a bit of fun along the way. Who knows? Like,
Yeah, we hope so. Fingers crossed.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Bye bye.
Catch you in the next one.